This game is heating up, folks. Frank squares up like a butcher block on defense. Audie with the fadeaway. She's on fire. Literally, that is. The net has been burned to a crisp.
Oh, yes.
Mom, Dad's being weird again.
Luscious.
Honey,
So full.
it's just grass.
Oh, it's so much more than just grass. It's a healthier, greener, and more luscious lawn. Yours can be too.
Look at you.
With Kabursky Brothers Lawn Care.
Remember, no shoes on the lawn. Because you're so beautiful.
Call or click today.
Come on, boys, come on here. Come on, Johnny, watch out.
Shinedown. Dance Kid Dance Tour. Live in Des Moines. Wells Fargo Arena, Friday, April 25th. With special guests, Beartooth and Morgan Wade. Get tickets now at HiVTix.com. Shinedown, live in concert. For more, visit Shinedown.com.
Two guys, two Chris's, one network. Iowa everywhere. It's time for Two Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
Welcome to the program. It is Thursday, the 17th of April. Welcome to little Two Guys. It's Chris and Chris on your Thursday morning with a splash of Van Winks in the background. He's waving in the studio. Come on in here, Matt. Say hello to everybody.
I was doing the splash.
Splash
yeah. Brothers.
There you go. Welcome to the program. We are presented, as always, by our friends at Fareway Meat and Grocery. I hope you have your Easter hams. If you haven't gotten your Easter ham, I'm smoking an Easter ham on Sunday from Fareway Meat and Grocery.
My dad is really upset. He is going to an Easter dinner, and they're making a turkey, and he can't get his mind around it.
Who
has turkey on Easter?
We're doing lamb. A rack
Like
of
rack of lamb?
Yeah.
Okay.
My uncle makes it every year.
Well, Mary had a little lamb. Mary is Jesus' mother. Jesus
She is
resurrected,
pissed on
resurrected on Easter.
Right now, she's not having a good time.
Mary's not?
No.
So I was...
I mean, it's starting to get... It's about to get heavy!
I was walking
right now,
around the
if you go
neighborhood
back
earlier in the week, and we have an elderly couple that lives next door. Vincent and Gay are their names. Vincent's the man.
wife's name is
Yes,
Gay?
like it's like Gaye.
I've heard
He's
Gay
like-
is a man's name before. I've never heard a woman named Gay.
Yeah, and so they're in their at least 80s, and I saw
What's
her on.
What's Gay's last name?
I can't remember. Gay straight. I saw her on Tuesday, and she said, I was just, hey, how you doing? And when I was walking away, she said, have a good holiday. I was like, what? Yeah, you too. What holiday? What? And I was thinking that, and I still do, maybe she thinks I'm Jewish because it's Passover this week. A lot of the people in the office celebrating the old Passover and not eating real bread. They have to eat this.
That's good for them too. I mean,
fake bread. So I still don't know. My wife thinks, she said, well, it's Easter on Sunday. Yeah, but
he is risen.
It's like 5 days away.
It's about to get heavy.
I think that if she was talking Easter, she would have said Happy Easter. Have a good Easter weekend, have a good Easter week, and not holiday. What the hell is this picture, Van Winks?
It's Brock Purdy and Jesus.
Jesus with Brock Purdy?
Getting ready.
Did
to
you
sign
get
that big
this on one of
contract.
those weird Facebook?
Why is Jesus
AI.
caressing Brock Purdy's arms?
I don't know. I follow a bunch of 49ers people. So I stole it from someone, but thought it was hilarious.
This reminds me of those.
Look at his
Like
muscles.
Caitlin Clark is in a hospital room with a sick kid.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Is that where we're going to start today?
No. Can we?
There's really not that much else to talk about.
We have a wild
How much
rundown.
are we really going to dive into the Iowa basketball and football transfer portal? You want that? You go Legends of Listeners. They just released a new episode this morning. They go head first into everything that's going on with the transfer portal there with Iowa. And then there's a new Bigger Than 12 that's coming out today as well, with much more on the Iowa State and Big 12 angle on things. I know they want to talk a lot about Colorado and
the jersey
retiring the
retirement.
jerseys, yeah. But I think today is going to be a lot of nonsense for us.
We have a lot of nonsense on the rundown. We have Mike Leach and Little People.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, I added
Is
that late.
Estherville going to change their name to Little People?
Well, speaking of
Estherville Little People.
The Flying Leeches.
Speaking of little people, maybe we should start with the Hendo interview.
Jesus Williams. That T really is shrinking you, isn't it?
This is clearly Photoshop.
You're 2 feet shorter than...
Oh, there we go.
He's like 11 feet tall, for what it's worth.
Who's the other coach?
That's Coach Clink.
Coach Clank?
Clink.
Clink?
Clinkifus? I believe.
Clink?
He's from Harlan. I've
Wait,
known him
what's
a
his
long
name?
time, too. Clinkifus?
His name is Clink Fuss?
Yes.
What is his
Clinky-
full name?
I don't know exactly how it's pronounced. Rob.
Okay.
Great dude.
Rob Klinkifus.
Yes.
That Drake script is beautiful.
I know. I
Clink.
told him that. I was like, dude, that shirt's just absolutely dope. He was on TJ's staff at South Dakota State. He's been at South Dakota State for like 10 years, so I've known him a long time too. And he came over to Drake with Hendo. So
Nor'easter says it's actually Klinkapus.
I wouldn't say that to his face. He's a Southwest Iowa boy.
What does that mean? He's going to drive by Clarinda Academy and flip
He's
the
going.
kids off?
He's going to say, "Hey, he'll pull up to your neighborhood and tell all the kids get in the truck. Just wait in the truck."
Beans says it's Kleck Klinkfus.
Yeah. Well, I call him Clink.
Remember, who was the Drake coach? Giacoletti, right? Ray
Yeah.
Giacoletti.
Yep.
And
He's
Gary
like Mark Fuse guy.
the fake
right?
Gary Dolphin went and interviewed him and introduced him as Jack Coletti. He thought his first name was Jack and his last name was Coletti. I'm here with Drake men's basketball coach Jack Coletti. Jack.
I've forgotten about that part. We got to get fake Gary Dolphin back now with Otzelberger, Henderson, McCollum, and then Jacobson's like aware of it. Like it would be really good now. with
Maybe he
coaches
could
who-
ask Ben Jacobson if he still has me blocked on Twitter. I hear you have young Christopher Hassel blocked on Twitter. Yeah,
kicked
he
me out of
cussed.
his gym once.
He cussed.
Anyways, so yeah, I was at Drake yesterday morning for about 2.5 hours, which was awesome.
Why didn't you
Did-
wear those bedazzled jeans that you wore the last
John
time you
Liebel
were?
said the same thing to me when I was walking up. He goes, "Where's your douche jeans?"
Van Wilk, will you pull up
That is Photoshop.
the picture or the video of Williams when the last time that I'm aware of that you did an interview like this, like on the court with one of our team's players or coaches. It was with Caitlin Clark a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And you were trying to crank half-court shots.
Yeah.
Wearing
Made a couple.
bedazzled jeans.
You know why I was wearing those jeans? This is the God's honest truth. Shout out to our friends at Game Day Men's Health. Because I was so fat, they were the only like jeans. I
Oh,
could
this
fit
was
in.
pre-T. Look at Look at those things.
I think they look nice. They're like
Look
my
at how
wife's
worn out the
favorite pair.
knees are. What were you doing on your knees and your thighs? A lot of rug burns. You don't look that fat.
I was. Speaking of that, I want to get this promo. I'm shaving my beard on Saturday night for St. Baldrick's Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think I've been clean shaven in 10 years. Because I always look so.
You are going to look like
fat.
a penis head. Just the head of a penis. A smooth, circumcised penis tip.
Yeah, because I'm not gonna have hair anywhere.
I'm gonna put the link to donate in the
yeah, it'd be
chat
great
for
if you guys. It's funny, like everybody's like, "Oh, shaving your head's a big deal." To me, it's clearly not. Shaving my beard, like I'm very self-conscious about how this is gonna go.
Because you know that you're gonna get made fun of.
No, I don't care about being made fun of. Like I'm very I think I look 30 pounds heavier and like a little.
But you haven't shaved since you
dickwad.
lost all that weight with the tea.
That's true.
Maybe you've got this incredible jawline now.
My 10-year-old, I love kids. They're just honest. She goes, "Oh yeah, Dad. Good thing you didn't do this a year ago. You would have looked really fat." Thanks, sweetheart.
Look at this picture of you. What? You look like you got makeup on, teeth whitening, a fresh tan.
That was Eric did that.
And then the rest of us, the pictures that we have of the rest of us on Iowa Everywhere, we're all shadowy. We got lazy
Well, these
eyes.
were different days. Like he came in and did these like 7-8 months later.
Yeah. We need new pictures of the team.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a different shoot, brother. You'll be. But it's just we can't. You and me can't stay out drinking until 3 a.m.
You can't schedule pictures for 9:30 in the morning on a Saturday. You can't do that. You know that.
Yeah, well, we all learned. You know what's really funny is some of the pictures Van Winkle had them on his phone of trips to Vegas where we had been out until like 3 and did shows the next day, and I'm carrying like 15 pounds of water weight in my face. So anyways, the real talk there, I've done this St. Baldrick's thing. This will be my 13th year, and we've raised over $100,000 over that time for kids who are battling cancer and research and all that stuff. And I don't have any hair to shave, but I got to do something. So off goes the beard.
So you have to do this because Van Woke won't shave his head?
Yeah, Van Woke won't do it. I asked the Bloom boys. They can't do it because they got a wedding that they have to be in, which I totally understand, Mom. Love you, Crystal. She had to make a decision. I tried to get like some college athletes. Couldn't get anybody. So off goes my beard.
What about Aiden? He could shave his head, too.
Aiden ain't going to do that. Are you kidding me? It was suggested to me by a couple people that you should be shaving your head.
There's no way I'm shaving my
He's
head.
a professional national television star.
I thought Cade Murphy offered, didn't he?
Yeah, but it didn't really, nothing ever came of it. So, I'm not going to like pressure people. This is my thing. And if people want to get involved, they can. But I'm not going to like, it's not for everybody to just do that. So I honestly, I'd rather have people donate $20 than like, if we could all do that, it makes a big difference. Like, I think it's like 98% of funds raised go to pediatric cancer research, which the crazy thing, Hassel, you would never know this. And I learned this through watching my neighbors go through all this, and they learned all this over the years, is that the overwhelming majority, I think it's like 80% of cancer research dollars go to like adult cancer, which is different because the adult body is different than a kid's body on how you can treat these things. So it's really important work we're doing.
On the St. Baldrick's website, you are considered a Knight Commander, Williams. Do you know what that means?
No.
10 years of service to St.
wow.
Baldrick's. Look at you. You're a Knight Commander.
Yeah.
Add that to the resume.
What does he get? Wait, zoom in on that. What benefits? He gets
You get a lapel pin.
Nice.
Personalized proclamation.
Nice.
On-site event recognition. I know that'll be big for you. You need to be recognized. Access to exclusive league membership.
Merchandise.
And invitations to virtual events to hear from honored kid families and researchers about your impact. So
That's never happened.
Well, now, what do you mean it's never happened?
No, it's going to happen this year.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
great.
needed to put 10 years in. Now you've done it.
I've done 10 years.
Oh, you're already passed 10
This is my
years.
13th. Yeah.
Well, what the hell?
I don't know. Whatever. If you guys could, and if you want to come and join us at the brewery in Bondurant, Reclaim Rails on Saturday night, love to have listeners and all that good stuff.
So are they going to use your beard hairs for something?
Yeah, they're going to give it to guys who can't grow pubes and glue my beard hair. Apparently this is a thing in Muscatine. So they're gonna collect my beard hair in a
So
shoe
you can
box
eat
and
your
take it.
Oreos instead of crushing them up and gluing them to your testicles. Well, this show's off to a good start.
Great start. God, I don't want to spend too much time on it, but because Iowa, let's be honest, McCollum's been horrible in the portal. So
No, come on. What are you talking about?
it's been a slow start.
I guess you haven't listened to Legends and Listeners today.
I'm giving you shit. Everybody
They're
just calm
really
down.
happy.
I love this Hausen kid from Kansas State. Like that son of a bitch just hit another 3 from Hilton. From God.
Van Wilk has the video. Look at him. Look at him.
And not only did he hit a bunch of threes, he's talking shit the whole
Yeah,
time.
I love
He's
it.
Flexing on the crowd.
I love it.
I told you when he went in the portal, I go, so one guy I don't want Iowa to get.
And they got him, baby.
God.
The
Congrats.
one non-Drake transfer in the portal that Iowa got.
Nice player you guys just got there. Congrats. That's a good start.
I don't think Keyshawn Gilbert was ever the same after Hausen guarded him that day.
It was a hell of a pickup right there.
Yeah, I mean, look, they've got some pieces. They've got a lot more to do, but this was a must get. They needed a knockdown 3-point shooter on this team, and he should be that kind of guy. That's all I have.
Yeah, I don't have anything else either. Let's do a little bit on this Hendo interview. I got nothing. There's really no Iowa State news today, and then we have a bunch of national college sports stuff that we're going to hit on. So I did spend time with Eric Henderson yesterday. Aiden has that pod ready. We are going to release it today at 1:00.
Yeah, I was really disappointed because I thought this was going to be the CW pod this week that you were going to release.
It is.
Yesterday.
We're having 2 CW pods this week.
Oh, well, I get one of those push notifications, and it's like CW pod. Chris Williams welcomes in Mark Freund to break down WrestleMania.
Yeah. WrestleMania, it's a cultural phenomenon. Have you ever
Really
heard of
good
it?
podcast. Great insight from Mark.
Thanks, Matt.
On WrestleMania?
Yeah.
There's some great storylines this year.
Yeah, save it.
Cena. It's John Cena. Do, 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 do.
I will not be listening to that CW pod.
It's
No
not for
offense,
you.
Mark Freund.
It's not
I like
for
Mark
you.
Freund, but not when he's talking wrestling or when you're talking wrestling.
Let's do a clip, Matt. What you pulled a couple of clips from this Eric Henderson interview because we went about 30 minutes. This was more angled to get you guys to know him and like the plan at Drake and less about because we don't even know who's on their team, right? So I can't be like, hey, well, who's your starting 5? I don't know. I don't know who they have. He doesn't even know yet. Matt, you pulled a couple of these clips. What do you want us to see this morning?
Let's so you asked him about kind of being one of the top mid-majors in the country, with Drake's profile elevating over the last 5 years and him coming from, South Dakota State, building up that program, how he thinks he can keep that momentum going at Drake.
One of the biggest reasons I came here was because I believe in that vision, being one of the top mid-major programs in the country, and the enthusiasm, the excitement for Drake basketball is at an all-time high, right? And to achieve what we're talking about, you have to have support. You have to have support in multiple ways. You look how, Gonzaga did it, right? And not only did they create an environment that was special, but they also supported it financially, the resources, the facilities, and all that stuff. And you can see that happening here. It's not going to happen overnight, right? But you can see the support continuing to grow almost every single day. And that's where I think the vision is. That's where I think where do we stand in the hierarchy? It's just been fun to watch from afar how that's helped but now I get to see it firsthand.
That was kind of Chris. A lot of these people at Drake, and I love the ambition. They're talking about their goal is they want to be the best mid-major in the country. And that's considering, I think, like Gonzaga's not really like a mid-major in the mind. Like we don't think Dayton's a mid-major. The hierarchy of what a mid-major is changed drastically, I feel like. And they believe that the Valley can be the best mid-major league in the country and that Drake can be, and again, like that's a loose interpretation. Some people would say, some of these other leagues are mid-major where we don't consider them that, but that's their goal. And
if you can get to that level, then all of a sudden the rules change for you. Because if you're just another team in the Valley, you go 29-3, and you're not going to go to the tournament unless you win the Valley championship game. But if you continue to elevate year in and year out, championships, Power 5 wins in the non-con, all of a sudden the rules change. Well, you get a benefit of the doubt, even though the selection committee always says, "Oh no, this is in a vacuum," bullshit. And you'll also get teams that might actually play you in the non-con, might be neutral court games. But if you start to gain that respect nationally, I mean, look at Gonzaga plays a bunch of teams in the non-con, and that's Gonzaga's on a. Yeah. They've been on this rise for 25 years. They've made Final Fours, and Drake's not going to get there, but they can certainly use this momentum, because we went over their last several years on a podcast a few weeks ago. It's incredible what they've done since Darren DeVries took over, and there's no reason why it can't continue with Eric Henderson, who took the baton from TJ at South Dakota State and basically did the exact same thing. He's a proven winner, and he's a proven coach that can take over a program in a good spot and have it continue on that track, which is not easy. Most times when a big-time coach leaves, even if you hand it to somebody that's was right there, it falls off.
Let's do one more clip from this, Maddie, and we'll move on. What else you got cooked up for us, bud?
I just thought it was fun to kind of hear some of his recollections and thoughts about his time at Iowa State as a grad assistant, kind of his first big, coaching job, if you will, with TJ Otzelberger. And I'm going to share a fun photo at the end that Mike Green actually just posted on X.
Oh, nice.
But let's hear about kind of his early days at Iowa State.
The McDermott era is just one of these crazy things where I look back at it, and I've actually talked with him about it quite a bit. It's like, I don't know how it didn't work, but it feels like all of you, TJ included, got so much out of that experience. When you look at what you guys were doing there and what Mac's done since, what TJ's done since, what you've done since, and, Petey being in the spot that he's in, it's really cool to see how you guys fought out of that.
Yeah, it's a pretty crazy story, honestly, because we weren't, obviously you can determine success in many ways, but the outcomes, the wins, they were a little light. and so, yeah. but like you said, you can learn a lot of different ways, and obviously I think we'd all say there's probably, we would have done it a little bit differently or done a few things a little bit differently and wish it would have been a little bit better. But you learn along the way, and really being true to yourself and being true to who you are, I think is really, really important. And then just being around good dudes that you can trust and love every single day and just help build that culture and climate, I think is really the things that I learned. And then just building the relationships and meeting TJ, when I was at Iowa State, and other guys too. But that was really, looking back at it, how pivotal that was to my career. Even though we weren't successful, it is pretty special.
He was a second grade teacher at that time when he got the call from Greg McDermott to come and be a grad assistant. So look at that photo.
This is from the 2008-2009 men's basketball staff. So you got Hendo on the left, TJ in the middle, and Daniel Robinson, who just
got the North Texas job.
Yeah.
I forgot about him. I probably should have mentioned him in that. I forgot he was on that original.
Brian
Who's
Peterson on that
who's
team.
the poor bastard? The other coach that we're not naming that's in this picture. Where is he?
I don't know
now?
what happened to that
if,
guy.
If you're not naming him,
He's probably watching
I don't
somewhere.
recognize him.
I don't know. But that is a cool photo, Matty. You got four head coaches right there on that McDermott tree. So yeah, that'll come up today, 1:00 on the YouTube feed. Jacob from Luminary did a great job of shooting that, so I would recommend watching it on YouTube if you can. It's an enhanced video production from our team. Real quick before we move on, I want to thank our friends at, of course, Channel Seed. We are in the Channel Seed studios. I don't think I gave them a shout out. What about our buddies over at Freedom Tire? It is going to be travel season. Get everything shored up, not just your tires, but Quentin and the boys, they can take care of your, annual, I hope you're doing it more than annually, your 3,000-mile oil changes. Right,
I
Matty?
guarantee a lot of people have their check engine lights on. They're just
Yes.
driving with that check engine.
Stop
checked out.
Stop being an idiot, driving around with your check engine light. Take them to Freedom Tire. What about them daggum Kaburski brothers?
Coming tomorrow.
We got a nice rain coming too.
Yes. Yeah, I know.
On today and then on Sunday. So you laid that down right now, Matty. Perfect. And your lawn is going to be in tip-top shape coming up after we get the nice rain. Next week, we're going to be in the 70s. Everything's going to start growing. It's going to be fantastic. The Kaburski Brothers Lawn Care, we appreciate their sponsorship of everything we're doing here on Iowa Everywhere. Real quick follow-up to last week, where we kind of stumbled into this, where I've been thinking about it a long time. I know I've mentioned it on shows before, I think a CW pod once, but we hadn't really spent much time on it, about how, Chris, I made the argument to you that economically, Iowa and Iowa State football we always brag about it in this state. Like everybody there are pro sports. Okay. Well, pro sports are funded municipally by like stadiums and stuff like that. And my point is, our state cannot afford economically to let Iowa and Iowa State football that are so massive for our local economy to just go to the shitter because of NIL and a lack of funding compared to their competition.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I don't know how we do it, but there's got to be some help somewhere from the state if that's the case. Which, from what I've understood, even Iowa, it's like, yeah, you're getting this big television check and stuff, but you're still nowhere near like the people you're competing with at the top level. Okay, better spot than Iowa State, but not entirely, because everybody you're going against is spending more as well. This came out just coincidentally on Monday. I think it was Monday after our show, that the North Carolina Senate is pushing to increase the amount of tax revenue on sports betting and would fund North Carolina and North Carolina State. They would give them some of that tax revenue for NIL purposes to basically stay competitive. The same thing we're talking about, right? Like so they're going to raise their tax rate on sports betting, funnel that money to the schools, which I think makes sense. And they will, in return, be required to play like certain amount of in-state games and whatnot. What do you think of this? I think this is fantastic.
I love it. So the North Carolina Senate, and I think it's headed by the Republican side of the Senate, they want to increase the tax revenue to all those UNC school systems. I mean, there's like 13 schools in that UNC system, from North Carolina to North Carolina State all the way to, UNC Charlotte and East Carolina and all that. They want to double the tax rate on sports betting operators and make North Carolina and North Carolina State play all the in-state schools in basketball multiple times over the next 15 years. I love everything about that. Let's start with the tax rate. I don't know if you've looked at the map for the tax rate on sports betting operators. Bloom tweeted about this earlier in the week as well. New York is like 51% tax rate.
Yeah.
That's number one. North Carolina wants to go from like 18% to 36%. Well, Iowa is at 6.75%. No state that allows sports betting is lower. It's tied with Nevada for the lowest in the country. So, when you and I'm not saying Iowa should go to 51%, right? But even if you just get that, North Carolina right now, they're not happy at 15, 16%. Iowa would have to, triple to get just there right now. And think of the amount of money that could put into these athletic departments. And let's be honest, these athletic departments and these teams are one of the big reasons why all that money is going into these sports betting systems in the state of Iowa. Yeah, they're betting on pro sports as well, obviously, but how much of that is because of Iowa and Iowa State? They're betting on Iowa and Iowa State. So I don't think it makes much sense to not try to go that avenue and not try to get that hiked up and cover some of these expenses.
Doesn't feel like this could be pretty bipartisan too.
I don't know why it wouldn't. Again, it's the Republican side of North Carolina that wants to up this, which it's kind of it goes against conventional thinking because usually the Republicans don't want more taxes. But the way I understand it is they're taxing the sports books who are making money hand over fist. This isn't a tax on individuals, correct? This isn't a
Correct.
tax
It's
on...
just on sports betting.
So
yeah, it's not like going into your like city taxes or what you pay to the state every year. That's
the
not
amount
what
of
this
money that these places clear, it's insane. And no matter how high you put these taxes, they're still going to make a ton of money. They're still going to be just fine.
Yeah, people aren't going to like slow down their betting because the tax rate got doubled.
No. So this is an avenue. That is absolutely an avenue, and North Carolina is going there right now because they're one of those teams that I remember when Bill Belichick was hired, that was a program that was like, well, okay, but we're a basketball program, and so how Bill Belichick wants all this money for football, how are we gonna stay on top in basketball as well? And so they're kind of, and now you got Will Wade over at NC State for their basketball program.
Yeah, that's
too.
not a guy who's just going to be like, oh, we'll just go at it with $2 million and see how we do. We're going to try hard.
But in the same bill, it's telling these teams that will benefit from this, doubling the tax rate to sports books, you're going to have to play the in-state schools as well.
Yeah,
and there's a ton of them in North Carolina.
Yeah, I'm totally cool with all of this. I think that it's a fair trade-off too. Like, we don't generally like politicians dabbling in sports too much, but my whole point on the Iowa thing, and I don't know, I wasn't even thinking of the sports betting thing last week when I brought this up. I was just thinking, like, there has to be a way where it's not just like, oh, my taxpayer dollars are going to pay Rocco Beck, but we could still, as a state, keep these incredibly large economic, organizations, Iowa and Iowa State football, very viable. We're not even talking about basketball here, but it's the same thing, but just on a lesser scale. We all know the economics of football are massively larger than what basketball does. But my whole argument is, like, for the economic value of the state, well, doing more of these games in state is better for the state. So yeah, like, I don't think what North Carolina is doing is saying, like, UNC Chapel Hill, you have to go to UNC Charlotte and play every year. Or it's not that. It's like, we're going to give you this money, but we want more of these bigger events in our state in return. And I think that's a fair trade.
Yeah, I think it was breaking it down, and I read the whole article and what the proposal was. If there are 13 other in-state schools You just have to play them 2 or 3 times over the next 15 years. And it doesn't specify, or it didn't, whether that means men and women. They both have to do it, or you can combine them. It also said that they wanted them to play the Division II schools as well, but one of the stipulations there was that it can be regular season or an exhibition. So it's not just the Division I that they're asking for. It's Division II, but you can play, you could play an exhibition every 3 years against the handful of D2 schools in that state. Now, Iowa might have more. I don't know. How many D2 schools does Iowa have? Iowa has a bunch of NAIA and Division III.
D3, yeah,
but
those
I don't
private
know about,
schools.
I don't know about Division II.
Well, it's interesting, and there's going to be copycats, and there's going to be more of this because right now you have athletic departments all over the country, especially this round of the portal where things just kind of got nuts. And they're looking around saying, what the crap?
Right. Big Papa asks, did they talk specific programs, or are they just going to make the swim team and track teams compete to qualify? I'm not exactly sure what you're asking, but the bill was about the basketball programs playing those other teams. Upper Iowa, I guess, is the one D2 school, thanks to Adam and Matt.
The Cox, right?
The Cox? Are they?
The Peacocks.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Peacocks, yeah.
The Peacocks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The way I understand it, Big Papa, and would be that these are just checks given to the athletic department, and then the athletic department decides what to do with it.
Yeah, I mean,
it's not like the state of North Carolina is writing a check to men's basketball specifically. It's so like if the department
I promise
wants to
you, the
give it to
swim team is not going to be getting any money.
Correct.
And this
Nor
would-
should
this
they.
would
Like,
only-
they don't create revenue. That's the whole point here.
In the
Like,
state
this
of
is
Iowa,
not a
too.
fair fight. That's the thing. Like that, a lot of people don't. This is an economic situation. Okay, and whatever Title IX has to do with it, that's not going to get into that because I don't fully understand it. But this is a deal where there's really only 2 programs in 90% of these schools that make any money. Now, and there are outliers with women's basketball and wrestling, I'm sure, somewhere. But on a big scale, this is a football and men's basketball thing.
And I think in the state of Iowa, this would really only benefit like Iowa State, Northern Iowa, the state-funded schools. Like Drake's private, so like even if you, like I don't know how much state fund does Drake get any state funding through
I
the
don't
state.
know. I
I'm
doubt
not
it, though.
Sure, but I don't even think you need to go as far as like mandating like who you play. I think even just increasing that tax on the casinos would.
Well, hell, just
would do a
double
lot.
it would go a long way.
Yeah.
And you would still be at or near the bottom in tax rate in the entire country. I think there's 27 states that allow sports betting, and Iowa and Nevada are tied for 26th. And you double that, and you're probably still only like 23rd.
All right, we got a lot of shenanigans to get to. We'll start with, did you see the Mike Leach story?
No.
So I don't know exactly where this happened, but it was from Reddit, and a bunch of people started talking about this. So I'm going to read the quote to you for those who aren't looking on the screen. Mike Leach this is a rumor that started going around, that Mike Leach was talked down from lining up a little person in the backfield and throwing him over the line of scrimmage in short yardage situations. Then
This
the question
can't be
is
true. That can't be true.
Question is asked, other than optics of doing this, why wouldn't this be allowed, and logistically, shouldn't it work?
Well, if he did try that, if somebody did try that, it would be banned by the next game. They would change the rules to say you're not allowed to throw another human being over the line of scrimmage.
I mean,
simple as that.
This is innovative.
Kyle says that would be the best interception ever. Oh, he picked off the little guy.
Ball security would be the biggest problem. I see what I think it would work though. I've been to bunch of these little people wrestling, pro wrestling things before. And like the bigger wrestlers will use them like a shot put. Like they can really launch these little people. So like think about it, if you got two backs, you got a fullback, say just a hoss of a fullback back there with the quarterback, and then the little person. Like, I do think this would work. If you've seen how they can be launched.
Well, wouldn't you? It would be a shotgun snap to the quarterback, who would then, so you'd have a quarterback.
Yeah, the little person isn't the ball; they're holding on to the ball. You'd have to have good line play to protect while you set this up.
Yeah, because you wouldn't trust the little person to get the snap and hold on to the ball initially. You want to snap it to the quarterback. The quarterback would then hand it to the little person who is at the same time being picked up by a big person, whether it's a fullback or an offensive lineman. You pick him up and toss him over the line of scrimmage. But I think you can only do this if you're on the goal line. Because as soon as you cross that plane, you're in. But if you do this on a 4th and 1 at the 30-yard line and you throw him, as soon as he hits the ground, he's going to lose the ball. There's no way he's going to hold on to the ball. The ball's almost as big as him.
So Van Winkle's got some video here of Hornswoggle from the WWE. He's a former little person wrestler. And look at the launch here. I'm just saying, like, you can get them, like, really high into the air. I've been to these, honestly, like, these small-town pro wrestling events, and they will launch these guys.
Leach was onto something.
I bet you money that Leach, during his time at Wesleyan, probably went to one of these things, and, like, Leach is always thinking.
But then defense would also sign a little person. And they would throw the little person at the offensive little person and have them collide midair.
Yeah, and that could be a real, now we're talking like helmet to helmet.
Oh, God, yeah.
Targeting.
I think there's no way this is true. I don't buy this. Even though it is Leach, I don't buy it.
You're talking about a man who the first chapter in his autobiography is about how his dog, have I told you this? Leach's dog kept peeing on one of his toys when he was a little boy. So little Leach, went and pissed on his dog after he did it to teach the dog a lesson. This is the lead chapter in his autobiography.
Oh, my God.
So tell me, again, that you don't believe this is real.
I don't believe it's real. Because if you go through all that to get a little person on the team and create a play like that and you do it, you know that the rules will be changed instantly. I'm surprised there isn't already a rule that you can't throw another player over the line of scrimmage. I mean, they're talking about banning in the NFL, believe it's going to happen. According to our Jonathan Jones, they're going to ban the tush push and even the pushing of players. Like, somebody makes a catch over the middle, a tight end or whatever, and then forward progress kind of gets stopped, but then the offensive linemen come and they push him 5 yards farther. That's going to be banned. So you don't think this would be banned? Come on.
I don't know if it would be banned or not, but I bet it would work. And then the defensive line, they're just going to start recruiting people like Eric Henderson size to just stand up and just swat the little people down.
Well, Michael says it's already banned because, according to the rules, the runner may be pushed or driven forward, but no teammate may grasp, pull, or lift the ball carrier to assist in forward progress. Done. Can't happen. You wasted time.
We have a breaking news story, Matt.
Yeah, Lee Corso, his last show is going to be August 30th on game day. Shay just let us know in the super chat.
Thank you, Shay.
I think this is a long time overdue.
I hope he's okay.
I do too. I think he is. If he's going to do game day on August 30th. Wait, is that's not the Iowa State game, is it?
No, Iowa State's the week before.
Okay.
So that's like the true week one is August 30th.
I'm glad. It was always a kind of hold your breath every time he was on, and every Saturday morning on X, it was just clips of, him kind of fumbling around. I get why they kept him around for so long, because he wanted to keep going. I just think somebody else should have stepped in and said, let's we'll bring you in for the helmet, the headwear at the end. Like, I don't see any reason why he can't keep doing that. Sounds like he's not going to, but I think that's what he should have been doing these last 5 to 10 years.
There's a whole chapter in Kirk Herbstreit's book about this, which gives you a lot of insight. In my opinion, Corso, to me, the generation, I would say our dads, Chris, they had that Beano Cook guy. Remember him?
Yeah.
Beano Cook, Penn State and Notre Dame. In my opinion, Corso is the college football voice of our childhood. I know Keith Jackson calling the games would be there, but to me, Corso was the first guy to bring character to it. He was like Dick Vitale, right? I mean,
he was the Dick Vitale for college football. I mean, it was great. He built College Game Day.
Yeah. And it got to the point where, and I'm a huge Corso fan, and I always kind of stood with Herbstreit, let the legend go as long. But it just made me sad for him to watch him.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my guess is that what you're talking about would work, but it's the travel that
he
is
doesn't
probably
have to travel. He can do it from his house.
Oh, that's true. I didn't think about it like that.
Bring him in, put the headdress on, whatever it is. I don't see why that can't continue, but
all right.
Lee Corso, last College Game Day, August 30th.
Can we talk about this? These Caitlin Clark, because the WNBA draft was this week, and Van Lith goes to Chicago to team up with Angel Reese. So that's a great storyline. I wonder if that was framed. That was the first thing I thought of. Was this rigged? But I get served, and I know everybody else, these Caitlin Clark AI pictures all the time. And we've
on
asked
Facebook, right?
Yes,
isn't it always on Facebook?
We've asked Van Winks to go and compile some of and they're absolutely outrageous.
So it's a horrible AI picture. It's clearly fake, and there's always some ridiculous story attached to it. Like this one here. Caitlin Clark saw an elderly man struggling to pay for groceries. What she did next was unforgettable. And this clearly isn't Caitlin Clark. And why is she wearing... She's wearing a shirt that says she's walking around in her Iowa basketball jersey. Look at this one. You won't believe what Caitlin Clark sent this sick girl. And it's a picture, an AI picture, of Caitlin Clark sitting next to this little girl's hospital bed, handing her a pair of size 12 shoes. And Caitlin is wearing a shirt that says Caitlin Clark on it. But a lot of people are falling for this crap.
Oh, thousands of people will be sharing these.
Because they're all in the comments. And even some of them, on the Iowa Everywhere group chat that we have, some of our relatives, we can see them liking and commenting. This is another one.
Newborn baby.
Just hours after a newborn baby was tragically abandoned, Indiana Fever's Caitlin Clark made a life-changing decision that shocked the nation.
And it's pictures of Caitlin Clark in her Fever uniform holding this baby at the hospital, and then in the street, and then in her house.
Oh, what's going on here? We got a little boy getting a basketball?
A young boy, 12-year-old Lucas, who uses a wheelchair due to cerebral palsy, attends a basketball game to see his idol, C-AI-tlin Clark. During the timeout, he musters the courage to roll to the court's edge, holding a crumpled letter he wrote about how Clark's resilience inspired him to keep fighting. Security hesitates, but Lucas calls out, catching Clark's attention. She kneels beside him, reads the letter aloud to the crowd, tears in her eyes, and dedicates the game to him. Then, after sinking the game-winning shot, hands Lucas the game ball, whispering, "You're stronger than I'll ever be." The arena erupts, and Lucas's family weeps, knowing his hero saw his heart.
This has got to be like some bot farm in Russia doing.
We missed
this, right?
that story when it happened at Iowa. Apparently, jeez.
Yeah, like.
Oh, here's look at
Would you like gift a house to somebody here?
So look at the top picture compared to the bottom two on this one. The top picture, it looks like they ran her through like a rural Iowa filter. Breaking news: WNBA
like
player
the Villisca Axe murder house.
WNBA player C-AI-tlin Clark has invested $3.3 million to transform a house into a facility for homeless youth in Des Moines. Read the full story in the comments below. Oh,
Who's that
God.
guy?
And then there's these. This is one.
Oh, that's Josh Allen.
Yeah, and it's like C-AI-tlin Clark spotted sitting with Bills star Josh Allen at Final Four. And it's this is my favorite one. It's a fake headline.
They made her look.
Come on.
Like AI made her look like she was like a porn star. Is how
Yes.
I would describe this.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know how else to describe this.
A very chesty in a fake bosomy photo. It's like they photoshopped her head on like Salma Hayek's body. And it just all it says is 2 minutes ago, C-AI-tlin Clark just crowned the #1 player in the USA. Like, what is that headline? But it's a picture of her in this.
It's such a
with these fake breasts and all made up. And look at this: 29,000 people liked it, 2.2 thousand comments, and 512 shares.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see how beautiful C-AI-tlin looks in that dress? She
Oh,
was
and
just named the #1 player in the USA. Did you know that?
And I can see them too when they're like reading this and they've got the big text on their phone and they're punching it with the one finger to that share button.
There's some
First
real
of all, Facebook is incredibly toxic. Two, our country, we are so stupid as a whole.
Oh,
the amount of people that just cannot understand, and I feel bad for a lot of its older people. But I'm not being ageist here because this is why I don't even get on Facebook, like my personal Facebook anymore. I just do it for my professional page because the amount of like people I went to high school with and just friends of mine who think crap like this is real all the time. Matt, did you get that Brock Purdy and Jesus one there? Because he gets a lot of this too. When Purdy was really hot, he was constantly getting this AI crap.
Yeah, there were my mom sent me one that was like, "Did you see Brock Purdy? They're having a baby. Oh my gosh!" And it was like totally an AI fake thing with a fake announcement and everything.
Mike has a good idea that Iowa Everywhere needs to start creating these featuring us. Be like, oh, this rural Iowa farm family was struggling to pay their bills. You won't believe what Chris and Chris did. We're wearing like flannel shirts and cowboy boots, and we walk up and we got a holiday ham for them.
Well, I did ask AI to generate your face yesterday with no facial hair. Can I show that picture?
I don't care.
Whose face?
William. This is the crap that AI comes up with.
What? That.
Did you tell it? Like,
I said
no
remove
facial
hair.
and meth?
How do you even describe the
I mean, it
the
looks
way
like
this
I'm
looks?
missing teeth. It looks like I'm on meth.
No, yeah, I see your teeth. They're yellow, but it looks like you've been chewing tobacco for the last 40 years. It looks like you're from an inbred family.
Big Papa wants to pay me to not shave.
Oh,
I mean, I do have all those South Carolina roots. I have no idea.
Yeah, you look like,
You know.
if your family would have stayed in South Carolina and your mom would have had you with her brother. That's what you would look like.
You know that AI hairless Chris Williams needs to go to Game Day Men's Health. Need some tea. What that guy does. I'm going to Game Day Men's Health right after this. Get that tea
Are
shot.
you really? Wow,
Yeah.
you're on the Thursday schedule now,
Because
huh?
I told you.
Oh, yeah,
Saturday
you like
night,
that tea
baby.
for the weekend.
I
yeah.
want full tea for the weekend.
By the way, our guy RFK Jr. caused a big stir.
Oh, yeah,
yesterday.
I saw that. Our guy. Watch out there.
Well, isn't he? Isn't he?
Oh, yeah, well, he's the testosterone guy.
Yeah,
I
he
get
dips
what
his
you're
tip
saying
in
now.
the tea.
Yeah. He literally puts his penis in the testosterone. And
Yeah, I mean, it
stirs
was
up.
all over my feed yesterday. He said that,
Oh, yeah.
basically autistic people aren't real humans.
Yeah, that got everybody fired up. So, speaking of politics.
Wait, what are you going to do?
Well, I want to talk about this test that they're going to that Iowa. So you need
They're
to
going
tell
to
me a
test
little.
everyone's. In order to graduate high school, they're going to test everyone's testosterone, and if it's not at a certain level, you're not going to be able to graduate from an Iowa high school.
No diploma for you.
No, so
You want diploma? High
I-
tea.
sometimes I'll just
Nobody else
search.
gets what I'm talking about for what it's worth. I'm paying homage to the soup Nazi.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but it didn't play well. So I'm going to have a lot of people just like, what in the hell was he doing? Go
Okay,
ahead.
so the Iowa Senate wants students to pass a citizenship test to graduate high school. And so I want Van Winks to quiz us with this test and see if we can pass. You're supposed to, so the quiz, there's 100 potential questions. And I guess each person is given 10 different questions, and you have to answer 6 of the 10 to pass, to qualify. This is what they give people when they try to become U.S. citizens. This is what the Iowa Senate wants students to take to be able to graduate high school. So Van Winks.
Okay, so check this out. I actually found it online. You can take 10 questions. It randomly picks 10 questions for you, and it will give you some multiple choice, I believe, on these. Is that okay? Are you okay with that?
So do you
I'll
want?
help you a little
Why don't like Williams does it first, and then I'll do it, or vice
Can I
versa?
give some real quick analysis? This is a high pressure situation. You go through high school, you pass all your tests for 4 years, and then you got this one shot to pass 10. Or,
Well,
otherwise you're
there is a
screwed.
caveat. I read the bill.
Okay.
You can take it as many times as you want.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, like, this is a high pressure situation we're putting our young people.
Okay, who's going first, me or Williams?
Williams,
you
let's
tell
go. Let's go, Williams.
Okay, Williams. So you got to hit 6 of these.
All right.
Okay, what happened at the Constitutional Convention?
Constitutional Convention.
Okay, here's your choices. The British taxed the colonists. Thomas Jefferson wrote the Declaration of Independence. Benjamin Franklin became president, or the Constitution was written.
D.
Correct.
Yeah. That seemed too easy.
Okay, what is an amendment, Hassel?
Wait, no. Williams does 10, and then I do 10.
Oh, you want
right?
Williams to do 10? Okay.
Yeah, because we got to see if we can both pass.
All right.
Is an amendment an agreement between two major political parties, a change to the Constitution, appointment to a cabinet member, or adding a state to the U.S.?
The answer is B. Final answer.
Correct.
Williams 2 for 2.
What ocean is on the East Coast? Okay, some of these are...
God, this is unbelievable. Wait, you get multiple choice on this? What ocean is on the East Coast of the United States?
D, final answer.
Williams, you're halfway there.
Here we go. Here's it. What did the Emancipation Proclamation do?
Free the slaves.
Correct.
4 for 4.
Who lived in America before the Europeans arrived?
I mean,
how do you get multiple choice?
Native American, so D.
Do you get multiple choice on the actual test? I don't know. This was just a American history quiz or something.
Okay. What ocean is on the west coast of the United States? Come on.
That'd be the Pacific.
All right, Williams, you already passed 6 questions in.
What does the Constitution do?
All right, you want to let Hassel go?
Yeah, Williams already passed. So.
Let's
I
restart
want
the
6 for
test.
6. I belong.
What the hell?
I deserve a high school
We
diploma.
already did this one. Didn't we?
Yeah, I already had the amendment.
Wait, what are they just going to ask? How easy is this crap?
You know, like, it is for really smart humans like us, but for some people, this could be challenging.
All right, I'm gonna
the no beard Chris Williams meth addict would have a hard time passing this test.
What ocean is on the East Coast of the United States?
You should.
The Eastern Ocean.
Okay, I'll give you a few just off the actual test.
But see, this is going to be way harder than what Williams got.
Okay, we elect a U.S. senator for how many years, Hassel?
6.
Correct.
Yeah! Williams, you wouldn't have gotten that.
I think I may have missed that.
Here you go. What's
Wait,
the
you
capital?
got no. Wait.
Oh.
Okay,
sorry,
fine. Go ahead.
What's the capital of your state, Hassel?
Tallahassee.
There you go. Some of these are so easy. What are the 2 major political parties?
Okay.
I guess
Dumb and Dumber.
Come on. This is insane. Steve says that Matt fell for a fake AI test.
Was Caitlin Clark
There
on
you
the
go.
picture when you Googled this?
Here's one.
She's in her Iowa jersey. Take this
Name
test.
one right only for United States citizens.
The right to vote?
Yep, and?
You
Name the
said
other
name one.
I know, name the other one. You should get this one.
Bear
The
arms,
right to
baby.
bear arms.
Yeah.
No, run for federal office.
Bear
I
arms.
ain't made in China. I'm American as
I've got a right to bear arms. All right, so we figured out that it's pretty easy to
here
get
you go.
6 of 10. Oh, wait,
When's the last day you can send in your federal income tax forms? That's relevant.
Well, I mean, isn't it April 15th?
Yeah, it just
That's
happened.
right. Unless you get an extension.
Yeah, so we got an extension this year because of the hurricane that hit the western part of the state. I guess whenever there's like a big natural disaster in your state, you can get they give you the state an extension. So we have I think, until next month, which is good because Williams, what the hell is going on with Iowa everywhere?
This is what happens when you're a business owner. You
I
just
mean,
have
my
to wait
God.
a little bit for K1s. It takes
Our
time,
tax
brother.
person's like, I don't understand what's going on. We don't have anything from Iowa everywhere.
Just everybody needs to just calm down, okay? Take a deep fucking breath and just relax.
So, are you in favor of your girls having to pass that test to get their
if they
high
don't know
school?
that shit, they shouldn't get a diploma.
There we go.
Absolutely. I'm
Van
fine
Woke,
with it.
you agree with that?
I think we had to learn all that stuff in American history in high school, didn't we?
Well, I'm sure you
junior,
did. Yeah,
senior?
yeah. So you passed it, and if you can take it as many times as you want, what's the big deal?
It's stupid. Like, it's not a test if you can take it as many times as you want.
You know what though? It's good to refresh
you
yourself.
get 2
on
times. Like, if you, like
And
you
what?
get 2 times,
So-
and if not,
so if
you're
you don't
screwed.
pass,
you're
you have
going
to
to
do-
the factory. You're like, whatever. Figure it out.
You don't even get to stay in high school. You get
Nope.
you get sent right off to
no,
the factory.
You're deported. We're kicking you out of the country.
You should have to take the whole all
Go to
100
China.
questions though.
You
only get
are
10?
deported to Russia, to communist Russia, if you can't pass that test. Get the hell out of here.
Putin will deal with you.
So, actually, why don't you send him to Ukraine? That's what Kelderman said. Send him to Ukraine.
The Ukraine is weak.
The Ukraine is weak. Smash your board to pieces.
We're just playing a game here, buddy.
All right. Cheers to the weekend.
Cheers to the freaking weekend with our friends from Steeple Ridge.
Cheers to the freaking weekend. Let's raise our glass of Steeple Ridge bourbon.
I'm shaving my beard with St. Baldrick's. I want to give a cheers real quick to this Braves reporter.
Really? Man, we've gone really political on this show today. You're gonna go that far.
It created a huge stir.
It did?
A massive stir.
It did? A lot of backlash.
I kind of sympathize for this guy. And hear me out. Because I was watching this game live.
Okay? Were you really?
Yes. I always have the Braves on in the background this time of year. It's background noise. And the play-by-play guy kind of like led him down this path.
Boom. There you go. So that's exactly what I said when this happened. And for those of you that don't know what happened, a Braves reporter was interviewing two women, younger women, probably in their, 20s or 30s probably. And it was in Toronto during a game earlier in the week. And long story short, he asked one of the girls for her number, and she put her number in his phone. But he originally just interviewed them. And then the play-by-play, when he sent it back, the play-by-play guy was like, basically he said like, well, why don't you get their numbers?
Yeah, on the air. The other thing about this is his first year as their reporter. Again, I always have Braves games on. This guy is like totally green, okay? So this is basically like his on-air boss in his ear telling him to do something. He doesn't have like 10 years.
He was put on the spot.
Right? And he just did what they said. So he's getting like crushed, like, oh, you're a sexist or like all this stuff. And I have some sympathy for the guy. And if I'm being honest, it was good television. Major League Baseball is really boring. And all of a sudden you had these shenanigans going on. And I was like, that's kind of funny. So yeah, I didn't make that big
I didn't think it was, it probably wasn't appropriate, but it's
I don't
not
think he would do it
deal.
again.
It's not, I didn't think it was a big deal. And I talked to someone who used to be one of these reporters, a reporter for a baseball team. You got 162 games, 3+ hours every night to fill, and you're a sideline reporter at a baseball game. You're always just doing ridiculous things. I don't think I could do that job. I think it would. I wouldn't do well in that situation, and so. They're just screwing around. I think it's a 4-0 game. I probably would have just laughed it off, like, yeah, right. Well, I've also been married for 20 years.
Yeah.
I've also been in the business for 20 years. And I thought that the blowback he got was a little bit unfair, and I was happy to see that he wasn't pulled off the air or anything like that. He was back at it the very next night. I think too often we make way too big a deal out of it and make a snap judgment. Well, geez, we got to pull him off the air. And then once you pull him off the air, you make a bigger deal out of it. And then who knows what happens to this guy's career. And again, the play-by-play guy was the one that walked him right into it and put him on the spot.
We saw that the same way then. Yeah, I just saw this dude getting killed, and I'm like, hey, I'd like to buy that guy a bottle of Steeple Ridge bourbon. He's had a week. What do you got going on this weekend?
Let's see. Working today. Tomorrow, you're going to love this. My wife and Matt Berry's wife are going to Daytona.
Nice. They going racing?
No. Oh. Apparently there's some bougie brand of furniture that has an outlet mall only in Daytona. And it's like this extremely high-end bougie thing that's in Daytona. I don't know what the brand is, but they are talking about renting a U-Haul so that they can bring things back to South Florida from Daytona. This is like a 3-hour drive up.
That sounds horrible.
It does. I'm not going.
That sounds just horrible.
But they're spending the night. They're spending the night in Daytona. And
so you're going to the Outback.
I might have to order the Outback, the old standby. I'm gonna have to. You know what? the amount of money she's going to spend at this bougie outlet place in Daytona.
You're just going to have to skip eating for like...
Yeah, I'm just going to have some saltines. Because God knows she's already talking about, we just got this couch 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Got this couch 10 years ago. And she's like, we've had it for 10 years now.
I know. Dude, I have the same problem going on right now.
It's getting old. It's like, what are you talking about?
It's fine.
Years?
It's fine.
I mean, a couch.
The couch.
I thought.
Can you sit in it?
You buy one couch, that's the couch you're going to live with the rest of your life. Pick
Preach
out a
to
good
the choir,
one.
brother.
So, yeah, I'm on my own on... she's taking the day off work to do that.
Mike's suggestion
On my
it's
own
an
on Friday.
Amish home furnishing store in Daytona.
Amish home for... Yeah, she's going to bring back an Amish bench.
Van Winks, anything go... you got like family coming for the resurrection?
Got the in-laws coming to town. Yeah, we're gonna eat some
resurrection.
Easter dinner. It'll be good.
Are you guys doing?
Easter.
I didn't think woke people celebrated Easter.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we're allowed to.
I mean, I know you're allowed to. I just didn't think you would.
Of course.
He's risen indeed.
Happy holiday.
Egg hunts and all.
I bet Caitlin Clark is going to be doing Easter egg hunts around children's hospitals all over the country.
You'll never believe what she found in the egg.
A little boy fighting terminal cancer broke down into tears when the Easter Bunny didn't show up to his house. But wouldn't you know it, Caitlin Clark just had to be walking by at the very same time, heard the boys cry, pulled out the bunny ears she had been carrying in her purse, put them on her head, walked into his house, and kissed the boy on the cheek and said, "Happy Easter from your bunny, Caitlin Clark." Oh, we got another super chat. Shay Amos. What? Hassel, you know what that means. WrestleMania for you. What is that, this weekend?
Yeah, WrestleMania coming up this week. Yeah, the Mark Freund CW pod. It's already up on the feed. Go check it out.
Well, Shay, how much does WrestleMania cost?
You just have to have a Peacock subscription.
Really? Oh, I have Peacock.
Saturday and Sunday nights. WrestleMania is 2 nights now.
Two nights?
Yep.
Yeah, I asked Williams, WrestleMania's on Easter this year?
I'm going to get Van Winkle blacked out drunk Saturday night like we did at Fail's house that time. And then he's not even going to be able to cook dinner for his in-laws. I'm going to get him so drunk on Saturday night.
Mike Leach said
I'm going to
that
pin him down and pour Steeple Ridge bourbon down his throat.
You buried the lead on the Mike Leach thing because I've been looking it up. He said that there was actually a large person in Jesus' tomb with him and picked up Jesus and threw him over the boulder to break him out of that tomb when he rose.
So he could help Brock Purdy sign his contract.
All right, get out of here, everybody. Appreciate Fareway Meat and Grocery for putting up with our crap. Of course, we are in the Channel Seed Studios. Have a great rest of your Thursday. Have a very happy Easter weekend.